All right, welcome back. This is Rayne Jaggrevade in the building. Yes. Forget to say that. Welcome back if you have been watching my previous videos, and welcome if you're here for the first time. Okay, we're having these discussions of philosophies, perspectives, and things that you can do in your own personal life, topics that we've been discussing in my membership classes, things that I think are beneficial to you, even if you don't practice yoga, right? Because they benefited me even way before I practiced yoga. I was just applying them subconsciously, and then yoga made me bring them back to myself, to my actual conscious, like, oh, and that amplified the way I actually applied them. And yeah, I see results, even still to this day. So today we're taking a deeper dive into a quote that I once posted on Instagram I'm looking at the post now, it's the 28th of February, 2021. Wow. Didn't know I was going to come back to this, but yeah, I just saw this and was like, okay, let me have a talk on this as well. And the quote, I'll read it out. It's my own quote, by the way. So, yes, it's better to tell yourself, I'll never know if I don't try, while you still can, than to ask yourself, what if I had tried when it's too late? Okay, so I'll say that again. This time I won't be reading. It's better to tell yourself, I'll never know if I don't try, while you still can, than to ask yourself, what if I had tried when it's too late? Okay, I don't have to read it out because I kind of know it off my head, but what I am definitely going to need to read out is the caption that I put out, just a short explanation of the quote, and then I'll explain it a bit further just now. So in the caption I posted, while it is true that success isn't guaranteed, what is definitely guaranteed is the fact that goals are never accomplished if they are not attempted. The way the world works is that we don't always get what we want, but in your case, let it be that you don't get what you want having tried to get it, not because you were too afraid to fail. It's better to live with the fact that things didn't work out after you had tried, rather than to spend the rest of your life wondering what it would have been like if you had attempted and succeeded. I can end the video right here. I can just literally end the video right here, but you get the idea. Okay, so a lot of people have dreams, even in their subconscious, like, oh, I'm dreaming to make it to Hollywood. I'm dreaming to go to India one day. I'm dreaming to go to China for dance, whatever it is that you have a dream of. Could even be a local dream. I want to go. Maybe you want to go see your favorite artist or something like that. Yeah, whatever it is, or maybe you want to get a promotion at your work, whatever it is that you want to go for. But a lot of the times, I think more than 50% of the reason why people don't accomplish their dreams or their goals is because they don't try. And more than 50% of the reason why they don't try is because they're so afraid to, quote, fail. So in my previous video, I was talking about the power of perspective. And yeah, it kind of debunks this whole mystery of like why you actually don't need to think that you're going to fail. So if you haven't watched that yet, please go and watch that, because this will make more sense. I'm not going to explain that right now. So just basically adding on to that. The idea is that, and also in the SMART Goals video, SMART Goals, I think it's the first sit and talk video that I did. In that, I was given an example of what the A stands for, which is according to Good Habits Development, I think, that YouTube channel. It said the A stands for attainable when it comes to setting your goals. Okay, for those of you that haven't watched that video, SMART Goals is basically a blueprint for setting your goals, whereby S means specific, M stands for measurable, A, according to me, stands for adjustable, but for the sake of this video, we're going to use attainable. R stands for relevance, okay, and then T stands for time bound. Okay, so coming back to the A, my A is adjustable, by the way. Go and watch that video for it to make sense. But in Develop Good Habits, it says attainable. So what their explanation was that you should look at your current situation, right? And then when you set a goal that seems slightly beyond your reach, and then go for that. The idea is that when you go for that, even if you ideally fail, all right? So by failure, we mean you don't actually get the results that you actually wanted. Because you had set it at a standard that was a bit higher than what you actually were capable of achieving at that point, it means that you actually get something within that journey. So the journey becomes the result, and you actually get something from the journey. Even though you didn't make it to your desired destination, you get something from the journey. Maybe you boosted your resilience. Maybe you worked on your mentality. Maybe you even improved your perspective, or you learned something down the journey that you would have learned if you hadn't gone down that journey towards the goal. We always say that in yoga, is the journey to power sequence. So the idea is not really just about getting to whatever your intention is, but you also appreciate the journey there, because it's in the journey, it's in holding the poses that you actually gain. Okay, then you can take that and apply it in your personal life. So even if you probably didn't make it throughout the whole, maybe you didn't hold all the 3 breaths that we asked you to do, maybe you held the 2 breaths, but you gained some kind of resilience in those 2 breaths that you actually did. Okay, so that's the idea. So yeah, don't be so afraid to attempt what it is that you want to achieve. Okay, so if you're afraid of people's opinions, get that out of the way. If you're afraid of how you're gonna feel down the road, just get that out of the way, because I'm telling you right now, it's worse. The idea of regret is actually way worse than just going through the journey. Okay, how are you going to feel when you start regretting? There's all these stories. We see them a lot in movies, actually, where you've got, I don't know if it happens in real life. I haven't really seen it in real life, but it's kind of interesting, and I'm sure it's true somewhere. You've got these old people that are sitting down on their front yards and so on. Then you've got their grandkids running up and down, coming from school and so on. Then when they have the conversations with them, they're like, son, you need to try these things. You need to go for your dreams, tackle your dreams. Because I'm telling you, my days were all about going to work, going up and down. We always had these dreams I wanted to do. Now look at me, I'm just sitting down, having my whatever it is that they're drinking. And yeah, and they're living in regret, and it seems so sad. Like I'm someone who's just built with so much empathy, and sometimes it works against me. So I can really feel the pain of like, hey, imagine living that life. You're in your 90s now, and you had all these dreams that you wanted to go for, all these goals that you had for your own personal life, but you end up just going through the motions. You end up just falling into the norm of society. You weren't true to yourself. You're true to what other people's perspective of you was, which means your perspective was wrong in the first place. Okay, and now you're sitting with this regret. You can't go back. It's already too late, because now you're not fit enough to do all these things. Maybe you wanted to learn piloting. Maybe you wanted to be a marine. I don't know what it is that you wanted to be, but you couldn't. You actually could do that, but you didn't do that because you thought you couldn't, based on other people's perspectives, or based on this whole idea of failure. So I'm telling you, the regret of it is way worse than going forward and not getting the thing done, because you would rather go on the journey and take the things that you can from that journey, as opposed to just completely living it alone. Because obviously, just as I read out in the caption, whatever you don't act on is guaranteed that you're not going to get the results of. Okay, so if you have this idea, you want to make more money, you want to build a bigger house, you want to buy a car, as long as you don't work on that, even if you set the goal, if you don't get to the idea of working on that, which we call like there's setting an intention, then there's BAS. Like, I'm not going to get into that. If you don't attempt that, if you don't take action, guaranteed you're not going to get the results that you want. And also guaranteed you're not going to get what it is that you can get from the journey. When you're playing games, I'm a huge fan of games. When you're playing games, especially like I think video games, there's these missions that you have, okay? And as you are going through those missions, there's these certain tasks that you have to carry on. And in those tasks, you see that your avatar, whatever it is that your avatar is, actually gains in character. If it's I know if it's Call of Duty, maybe you unlock a new gun, you can use that gun in your multiplayer with your friends. If it's my favorite game is Skyrim. If it's Skyrim, you might get like a new spell down the line if it's a quest or something like that. So for my gamers out there, you can kind of relate to this. It's the same idea. Go on the journey, and the journey actually becomes fun if you think of that perspective. Like, okay, even if I don't get through that mission, I'm gonna get this instead. Okay, and if I come back to it, let's say you try the first time and then you didn't get it, right? You have learned something from not getting it. Just there's a Usain Bolt analogy that I explained in my previous video on the power of perspective. There's something that you get from not getting to your desired results, from quote failing, so that when you come back and you attempt the second time, you're more likely going to succeed. Okay. And as I said in the previous video, success is a result of multiple failures. That's the idea. Okay. So debunk this whole myth of I'm going to fail, just go for it. I'll use my personal life example. So if you know me well already, you know that I went for dance. Okay, I chose dance over graphic design. My norm would have been graphic design. I'm sitting in an office 9 to 5. Okay, it's fine for everyone that loves graphic design. Absolutely amazing stuff. I still like graphic design to this day, but it wasn't something that I was willing to sacrifice dance for. And my dream was to go for dancing. And yeah, well, my perspective was different back then when I started, because my perspective, not saying that is true, my perspective was that everyone around me was against this whole idea of me going for dance. Okay, so I was like, Eish, okay. Even the people that I thought were going to be all for me, supportive and so on, they were like the first front lines of like, hey, you're not doing this. Okay. But then I'm so grateful to Mr. Makola, my graphic design and technology teacher. Funny how life works, right? I was in the graphic design class. That's where I learned this. Okay, so shout out to Mr. Makola from Falcon College, who was my teacher for graphic design. He's the one that sat us down and briefly told us. It probably lasted like 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes, I'm telling you, changed my life, changed my perspective. Okay. He said we were doing career guidance classes at that time, and we were asking him like, "Do you like your job?" I shared this story in my Stride episode, in my episode on Stride. So if you haven't watched that, I'll put the link on the description. So if you haven't watched that, go and watch that. It's a good watch, and I'll explain more about the story. And he was like, "Okay, you guys be careful." So we asked him, "Do you like your job?" And he was like, "Yeah, it might seem to you like I don't like my job, but I'm really liking my job." As you guys are doing your career guidance, be careful of what you choose as your career, because you be told this and that, go for this, go for this, go for that. But the idea is for you to go for what you know you're going to have a high performance in. Don't just go for the norm. All right. Okay, so I took a big risk because dance in Zim is not viewed as this thing that you can generate money from. Okay, it seems like it's the statistics seem to show. Not saying that they're true. I'm not saying that they're true. So clarifying that, but it seems to show that like more than 50% of dancers are quote broke. Okay, that's the idea. So the idea is that you're not going to make money out of dance. And I was like, okay, for me, it's not about money. I'm just going to go for it, because I would rather not make money and die of hunger as long as I know that I'm going for what I want. Then guess what? I went for dance. Things worked out way more than I could have expected. And I think that if I'd gone for graphic design, I wouldn't have created the same amount of value and as I did in dance. And what that yielded, that amount of value actually resulted in me actually having a lot more money than I thought was possible in dance, actually. So I was like, okay. Then I started branching out. I started expanding more. That's actually one thing led to another, and now I'm doing yoga classes as well. But I'm still very much a dancer. Still now more into teaching, that is. And I found different ways where you can monetize dance. And I think in another video I'll explain how you can actually monetize dance, whether you're a dancer, whether you're an instructor, whether you're a choreographer, because those three things are actually very different. But you can really monetize dance. And you actually don't even have to be a dancer to monetize dance. It's actually quite funny. But then people end up using that exploitation. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, I'm digressing. But coming back to it, it worked. Just reiterating the point that it really worked for me, because how I came up with that quote is actually that I was thinking of myself, okay, let's say I go for graphic design. I was contemplating, right? Because I had these voices of people that are close to me in my head telling me I shouldn't go for dance. But I had that's my heart's voice in the back of my mind, like, you need to go for dance. Dance is you. This is you. I'm thinking, okay, what are the consequences of going for dance? What could go wrong? Okay, so what if I just try and see where it goes? And then if it doesn't work, yeah, maybe I'll come back to graphic design. I was going to come back to graphic design, I'm telling you. But in another area, I was going to be like, okay, maybe this really isn't working out. Let me go for graphic design so that money-wise, I can cater for myself. I can take care of myself. So yeah, something to follow. I can still dance, but I'll focus more on the graphic design as my main source of income. So I was thinking of all that. I was like, okay, let's say I go for graphic design, and then I leave dance completely alone. Am I going to be happy? That's what I asked myself. am I going to be happy? Straight up answer. I didn't even take a minute to think about it. I was like, nope, not me. Maybe someone else going to be happy, but not me. And I ended up going for dance. And that really is one of the best decisions that I've ever made for my personal life. So if you have a dream that you're sitting on right now, go for it. Right. And don't just dive into it, because also another quote that I posted is a good journey, a successful journey is usually a result of a good preparation. So prepare for that journey. Have this conversation that I had. Think about it. Weigh these things down and see. Okay, if I go for this is what I'm going to have to face. If I go for this is what I'm going to have to face. And saying yes to something means you're saying no to something, and then saying it works vice versa as well. So be very conscious, very deliberate of what your yes is. I think I talked about be a yes in another video as well. So go watch that. So yeah, that's the idea. Don't wait until it's too late. Go for what works for you while you still can. It's right now, and stop procrastinating. Just go for it, because the longer you take, the harder it is to actually start that journey. Okay. So yeah, that's it for today. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I'm hoping that you're going to take this and apply it in your own personal life for your own benefit, not for the benefit of the people that are doubting you. Peace. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. Oh. Why was I sitting like that, man? Oh, my goodness. Oh. Ah. I was stretching my hips by sitting like that. Figure four. Okay, let's move on to the next one. It's class time.